Yeah, it's interesting also too that you would think you would find happiness in not goal scoring, but like I noticed in my own life in the past year since I spoke to you last, I've probably had a decent amount of success, and life kind of got a little bit more exciting with doing some touring, and was more financially rewarding. And but I found that I was really not unhappy. I was grateful, but I guess I was a little unhappy. I think I always felt like when I got to a certain level of success that the questions that I had inside of my heart or inside of my brain, or the discomfort, I felt like everything would go away. Like life would hand me some like magic answer book that had a couple decent answers in it, But
You mean like Beyond Order?
Yeah, yes. Yes, like Beyond Order. Like there would be, okay, you did it, like somebody comes out from behind the door and they're like, all right, bucko, like finally Oz comes out, and
Right.
But and
says good job.
But that never happens.
No. Well, that's another indication of the perverseness of human beings to some degree. So look, there are two kinds of reward, technically speaking. There's satisfaction and there's incentive reward. And satisfaction is the reward that you were sort of dreaming about. So you're hungry and you have Thanksgiving dinner and you're no longer hungry. That's a reward. That's satiation. It's satisfying. It stops you from being hungry. Well, you think, well, I'm hungry. I don't want to be hungry anymore. But hunger did give you something to do. And there was the anticipation of the meal, and sometimes on Thanksgiving Day, people will not eat all day just to heighten the anticipation, right? Because that increases the incentive reward. And incentive reward is what you experience when you're moving towards a desired goal rather than when you attain it. And we do have this vision. It's a vision of utopia, and probably is what motivates utopian thinking, motivates ideas of the promised land, which is milk and honey. That if we just turn the corner and get to here, everything will be all right.
Yeah.
And that isn't the case. We're wired up so that the pursuit is often more engaging than the acquisition.
Yeah, I wish I'd have realized that though as I was trying to acquire. It's like it's such a tough thing. I missed some of the moments of the pursuit because I was so focused on, I think, on this end goal that would make any of the uncomfort it would make all the pain of the sacrifice, it would make it all worth it, kind of.
Right. Well, that there is some utility in that sort of dream too, because having that image of the future also motivates you to pursue it. But the problem with that kind of thinking, I suppose, too, is that Dostoevsky raised this in Notes from Underground. It's a great short book. And
if it's short, I'll give it a chance, man.
It's a great book. It's
okay.
A great book. It's a real punch, that book. And it contains a very powerful critique of the idea of utopia. And Dostoevsky's, and he was talking about the sort of precursors to the Russian communists and their notion, if you just gave everybody enough material resources, then all of a sudden the problems of the world would disappear. And Dostoevsky, first of all, points out that that's nonsense, because for reasons that are similar to the ones that you laid out, but also that even if it was true, people are so perverse in a sense, we're such peculiar creatures, that we would smash our happiness all to pieces out of sheer boredom, just so something new and exciting could happen, so that we would have something to do again. And
wow.
I read that and I thought, wow, that's exactly right. It's this searching that's part of our essential nature is not only insatiable, but it's actually desirable. Because, well, what do? You shake hands with Oz and then you die? It's like, done, right. I'm over. Well, you don't, because you want to get on to the next great adventure. And so it is, the Sermon on the Mount seems to address this to me, this fundamental problem. And my reading of it anyways is something like, align yourself with the highest good that you're capable of imagining. And so for all intents and purposes, that's God, the sum total of all that's good. And you live in relationship to that. And then concentrate on the moment. And see, it seems to me that way you get to have your cake and eat it too, right? Because you're aiming at something that's like the promised land, this proverbial utopia. It by definition is the best possible thing. And maybe your view of that's going to change as you mature, but it doesn't matter. That's still going to orient you. And having that in mind, so now you're pointing in the right direction, you can attend very carefully to the details of the pursuit. And I think that's
the best we can do?
Well, I certainly haven't. Well, I did come from the Sermon on the Mount, so hypothetically it's a reliable source, But I think it makes a tremendous amount of sense psychologically.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you not aim at the best that you could conceptualize if you were going to aim?
Right.
And having done that, well, then it is reasonable to concentrate on the present. And then you can immerse yourself in the present and enjoy it